Welcome to the 1 to 9 podcast for interesting insights and knowledge from animals and other beings within multidimensional realms. And welcome to another podcast. I'm Karina.
And I'm Diana, or Diane, whichever you prefer. I think I'm maybe Diane today.
Okay, Diane today. I'm Karina at the moment.
Okay.
Today, I believe we're going to talk to the Dolphins.
Yes.
We're going
to be talking to them again. After our previous conversation with them, they thanked us. And some of them left, but some of them stuck around. And now that they know we are talking to them again, some of them have come back.
How many is some?
I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 have come back. So maybe there's like 10 around now. Mm-hmm. They were in a circle before. There were more of them previously.
And these are multidimensional dolphins, or are these actual dolphins that we're communicating with? Actual dolphins that live on this planet, Earth?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I think originally we were thinking we were actually talking to the dolphins that live here.
Right, because they said, "Welcome. We look forward to seeing you in February." Right?
Diana and I are going to go on a dolphin swimming trip in February.
Right, but just because they said that doesn't mean that they're only in, our physical world now. They could be also in the multidimensional world at the same time.
That's true.
Which is how, we can talk to them now.
Right.
And so, this, you had been talking about the stories about dolphins rescuing people and various other stories about dolphins helping humans, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I was kind of wondering, how did they know we're going to be going there in February, right? But that answered my question, in that they do know this kind of stuff.
Right. And we were tapping into the dolphins the second we decided to go. At least I was. I got a funny message from the dolphins I didn't even tell you about, but I was poking around on the internet looking for information about dolphins and seeing what other communicators had received as messages from them. And one of the ones I stumbled on right away was about the dolphin's skin and how it was capable of healing itself. And
you had talked about that.
Yeah.
Right.
And but in there, one of the strongest messages from the dolphins was, keep your skin nourished. Keep your skin nourished. Uh-huh. It must be nourished. And it keeps coming, the message keeps coming back to me in the middle of the night or whatever. And I've been looking around for better oils or, topicals that I can use on my skin to nourish my skin. And I'm thinking I almost need to get prepared for swimming with the dolphins by nourishing my skin. But they talked about how important the skin was. And humans don't realize how important keeping their skin nourished was, and keeping their skin healthy. And I got to thinking about it, and it's like our largest organ is our skin.
Right, yeah.
And so it was an interesting message that I kept hearing.
Do they have any suggestions on what kinds of things to use?
They did not, but we could ask them.
Right, but they probably use different things than we would,
Well, their bodies are mostly fat.
Right.
And they're in the salt water, so they have already probably chemically compounded themselves, to be in perfect harmony with their environment, versus us humans are, sometimes we're in water, sometimes we're in air, we're constantly scrubbing ourselves off, we've invented all kinds of harsh chemicals for our skin, we don't have a consistent environment or anything, clothes we wear kind of wick moisture away from our skin. We have all kinds of things. The food we eat, they eat what they eat. They eat. They don't have the choice of eating a McDonald's hamburger or
which is probably
a
good
salad.
Thing.
Oh, it's good that the dolphins don't have those choices.
Well, it's a good thing that they don't have a choice of eating McDonald's hamburgers.
You think they would choose that?
I don't know. There's lots of animals that would choose junk food over what they're supposed to be eating.
Right. Well, anyway, all that affects our skin. So they just kept saying, nourish the skin, nourish the skin. So we could pose the question to them. They don't know if they'd know the answer.
Interesting.
And I found that castor oil, shea butter I've used in the past, but that's too heavy for my skin. And I, for some reason, I'm not 100% convinced that that's, the final one. Or the final answer.
No, okay. Now, are they saying this? Are they saying nourish your skin because they know we are going to be in the water for extended periods of time?
That's saying nourish your skin because it's your largest organ. Take care of it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They said the guy had asked him what is some advice you could give to humans, and they said to nourish your skin and take care of it. And it just keeps resonating, and so I'm like, all right, I'm nourishing, I'm trying, I'm figuring it out.
Wow. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of, maybe that's really important. I don't know. I don't really know, but I do know if I'm about to get in the ocean swim around, probably it's a good idea to show up with nourished skins.
Right.
And maybe the dolphins will like me better.
Oh, I think they'll like you regardless. See, I mean, unless like you've got sort of evil intent, they will like you.
Yeah, generally they're pretty good read of character, and they're pretty friendly to humans in general.
In general, okay.
So in preparation for our trip that's coming up, is there something that dolphins would like us to do to prepare?
Okay, so they're saying find out more about us.
Ah, okay. I was sort of drawn to do that anyway. I'm reading a couple books.
Right, exactly, yeah. But then, well, why don't we just ask you ourselves? Yeah, you could do that too. It's like, what questions have you got?
Okay. Do you guys have, what do you think about patriarchy? Is there patriarchy in the dolphin realm?
What is patriarchy? You're asking this.
It's kind of like a balance of masculine energy over feminine energy.
Okay.
An imbalance of masculine energy over feminine energy.
They're saying something about their concept of energy, masculine and feminine energy. It's not the same as ours. I can't really get what they're saying though. But in terms of patriarchy, how they're organized, it's like I'm not talking about their answer, right? But I don't know anything about dolphin podcast structure or pod structure. But what they're saying is that there are some wise ones, meaning I take it to mean they could be male or female dolphins. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wise ones who are basically in charge, and they kind of like set the tone for the pod. And then there's little groupings within the pod, kind of like little families, I guess. And they arise because they just feel connected to each other in some more intimate way than the whole pod feels connected. And then so like of course the pod itself is a community with some of the dolphins feeling more of a community spirit than others. But that's okay, Everybody's an individual too, and they take everybody's opinions into account. So I'd have to say, it seems like they're saying it's more democratic than anything we've got, because they make decisions collectively.
Is that because they communicate telepathically very easily?
Between each other?
Yeah, between each other.
Can you rephrase your question?
Well, in reference to you saying that it was more democratic than anything we know, in order to be able to take everybody's opinion into account, they have to have some form of gathering that information, that data, and I'm just wondering if it's telepathic or if there's another system.
Right. First of all, the pod it's not a country. It's a very small grouping of dolphins. But also, because everybody's opinion is taken into account, it's more like direct democracy, which we don't have here. Mm-hmm. We elect representatives, right?
Oh, okay.
And the representatives are supposed to represent whole big groups of people.
Right.
Right?
So basically everybody has a voice
Yes.
And the voice.
Yeah. Unless you're kind of like a baby dolphin, then it's kind of like, okay, they got to wait until they grow up a little bit.
And do they communicate then telepathically, or do they use their voices?
They use both.
They use both to express their views. And then does someone, the wiser ones, actually ask their opinions? Or is it more of a knowing, then they start discussing whatever's in front of them?
I don't know. They must have meetings of some sort. I mean, you could, okay. No, I mean, they don't want to be sort of like communicating with themselves telepathically all the time. Because they want to, I mean, they've got their own thoughts.
Right.
Too, you know. They don't want to be connecting constantly with everybody. So, yeah, they do meet to kind of communicate things, either telepathically or in their little chirpy voices. Because they do want everybody's voice to be heard, the people who don't speak, the dolphins who don't speak up, they are asked what their opinions are.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
Right, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Unless, of course, they're kind of like mean dolphins or misbehaving dolphins. See, they've got kind of like this delicate balance. They have to be functioning as a cohesive group pod to be able to survive. So that means kind of like a standardization of some kind. You can't have everybody doing what they want all the time, because that would be chaos. But there's some dolphins that just want to do what they want, doesn't matter what anybody else wants. So they gotta learn that.
So they work with those dolphins, or do they send them off to be lone dolphins?
I think they work with them first. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they say they've got reform school.
They have a reform school? Very nice, very sophisticated.
Oh yeah, no, they do have schools. They've got education. I mean, I think in previous podcasts we talked about kind of like their global knowledge base, which goes back eons. But maybe they need some kind of training to tap into it all the time, because it's a vast amount of information. But they can, the things that they do every day, right? They learn by watching other dolphins, and they learn by instruction too, by other dolphins. Mm-hmm. So you can say that they've got sort of like reform schools, but then they've got regular school too.
And I'm assuming that the school is rather experiential in nature.
Oh, definitely. Well, yes, maybe. Okay, they do create things in terms of oral stories, mm-hmm. you know. So somehow those have to be passed down, but they also have to learn how to create these oral stories, mm-hmm. and also music.
Are some of the dolphins musicians?
Yeah.
Some of them are writers?
Yeah.
Is there an example of an oral story that they would like to share with us?
Oh dear. I'm asking them this. Okay, so they've got entertaining stories, and they've got oral stories that kind of like reflect their dolphin legacy. Okay, their entertaining stories are they seem to like puzzles, meaning kind of like
mysteries, or
yeah, I was going to say it's their equivalent of mysteries, except of course, I mean, another dolphin is not going to be killing. A dolphin is not going to be killing another dolphin, so they don't really have mysteries in the same sense we do, mm-hmm. right? But there are these entertaining stories that are like puzzles. I don't know if they can give me a specific one. Okay, I mean, I'd have to sort of like think about it more in order to get it from them.
Mm-hmm. All right, we can come back to that.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to hear some of their oral stories. So a lot of dolphins save people's lives. They show up. They seem to know when to show up, and they help. I think surfers know this, and boaters have seen it, and there's a lot of stories. Is that part of their job to watch out for us humans in that way? Or do they just like to do it like a good Samaritan would?
Well, I think they view it in terms of they would do it for other dolphins and other sea creatures who are not their enemies. So of course they do it for humans.
So
It's not like humans are this special category which they have to watch out for.
Uh-huh.
No, they're just generally, good Samaritans for all beings.
Oh, very interesting.
I mean, we humans would like to think that perhaps dolphins think of us as special, but
Well,
yeah,
we do have the capacity to wave and laugh and giggle and really enjoy the dolphins when they come close. And I don't know if that makes it worth their while to interact with us on those levels. But some dolphins, like the one in Ireland that stayed for years in the bay up there, they just seem to be really enjoying hanging out with humans.
right, yeah. Although that strikes me as not regular dolphin behavior. I'd be thinking, oh, isn't he lonely without other dolphins? But, I mean, it's like there were humans there, so it certainly fulfilled the dolphin's need for companionship. Sorry, what was the question?
I just felt the question was, I understand they don't think they would help anybody, not just humans. They don't think humans are special in that regard, but do they think humans are special in other regards, like our interest in interacting with them on many levels, aside from doing tests on them?
Yeah, aside from that, right. Yeah, they do recognize us as being on a par with them.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, they don't view us as lesser, They view us as kind of like equals, yeah, which is why they like to interact with us. But they also like to play games and be funny, and somehow the humans that they interact with so far, they wanted them to do that. They wanted the dolphins to do that.
Yeah, who doesn't like a entertaining dolphin?
Yeah.
An acrobat from a dolphin that seems to be talking to you or
right,
saying something.
Yeah, but then, so like from the dolphins' perspective, how do they view the humans? Are we entertaining to them? Are we? I mean, we don't do acrobatics for them.
No.
What do they get out of it?
Yeah, that's a good question. What do they get out of it? Well, everybody likes a little praise, so we praise the dolphins for doing something like that. Is the praise enough, or do they want us to entertain them? Maybe I know, like in aquariums, sometimes you see people trying to entertain the dolphins a little bit. But do they want underground TVs? Do they want more of us to jump in the water and try and do acrobats for them? Do they want our praise, or do they actually want us to perform for them or do something for them?
I don't know. I mean, that's something I guess we could find out.
Yeah. Well,
or maybe they're just, okay, they say they like performing.
Right.
They like performing.
We already discussed how they chose those bodies
right.
because they're acrobatic, because they can move quickly in the water and freely, and they like acrobatics.
Right.
So they like our praise and acknowledgement for their...
yeah, but that can't, I mean, is that the only thing that they get out of this? They must get more out of this. Maybe they would like more.
We'll ask.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they want to see kind of like, ew, boy, some kind of human dolphin civilization.
Do they want us to come down underwater, or do they want to come up?
More interaction.
They want more interaction.
Yeah.
So
like it was before. Before meaning so like eons ago.
Eons ago before. So we're having trouble with this interaction, the dilemma of interaction, because we don't feel it's right to put dolphins in captivity, and so many of them die in captivity, and we can't guarantee good management of their captive situations. And
no, they don't want to be slaves.
Right, they don't want to be slaves. So do they have any ideas of how we could interact with them without infringing on their freedom and their...
We'd have to figure out how to live underwater part of the time.
Well, we know how to do that with scuba gear, but that's quite cumbersome.
Yeah, I'll say. So, I mean, it's like,
But they're saying that's what they'd like?
that's ideally not humans in scuba gear, but humans to figure out some way to actually live underwater some of the time.
Interesting. Well, we could do it. You just need a long pipe. So you're not carrying the tank with you. We wouldn't be able to go as deep as the dolphins, but we would be able to swim around for longer if we had not a pipe, but a hose. With the
Right. Yeah.
and we could spend more time.
They're thinking about this question,
I mean, if that's really what they want, it's
But they want it to be so like to the benefit of everybody,
right.
meaning that we'd have to be making some improvements in our lifestyles.
As in, like, the sunscreens we wear, or our consciousness levels.
Well,
Our
not
awareness.
the sunscreens.
Oh,
Okay. Improvements in communication
with the dolphins.
with the dolphins, right? Improvements in, well, they're saying we should be making improvements about how we communicate with each other. That's what they're saying.
With each other, meaning humans to talk to humans.
Yeah. And improvements also to their environment if we're going to be in it part of the time too. Yeah.
So right now they have things like underground bars and underwater bars and stuff where you can go down
The
and...
dolphins have this?
No, the people have it. You can go into this underground bar and sit there, and dolphins can swim around.
But they're outside of the glass.
Well, any fish can swim around, basically. So they're outside the glass. So there's
Right.
not real interaction, other than you can wave and you can see
Right.
them more in their environment. Is that like a baby step? Or is that just annoying to them?
Well, it's not annoying because they realize, okay, this is an effort on the part of humans, right? But it's kind of like, it's not really an effort towards enhancing dolphin-human interaction. It's more of an effort to enhance its, money-making capabilities.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I don't know, once you enter the alcohol in there, you might not be enhancing communication.
Right. So, but they're actually finding this conversation very interesting. The dolphins.
So there's an area in Hawaii called Dolphinville where people feel one with the dolphins, and they apparently, a lot of them try and swim with the dolphins, but then there's been a lot of laws that have stopped that capacity. Do the dolphins miss those people that were swimming with them regularly? Do they miss that freedom? Or are they glad the laws are in place because it was getting to be too much?
Okay. Well, I mean, they're saying that the humans were not tourists. The humans were people living there.
Right. Dolphinville were people that lived
Right.
there.
And so there is some there's still interaction between the humans and the dolphins, but they're saying it's not like it was before.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they do miss it. But I mean, they can't really do anything about it, the dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
So, they just say, well, it is what it is. But they're saying the humans are finding other ways to interact with them, too.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like they're totally cut off. Is it recording now?
Yeah.
Okay. They're really looking forward to meeting us in February.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm really glad they gave us the information they gave us today, and
Well, they can give us more information. No.
right now.
On perhaps topics that we don't want to be talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should wrap this one up for now.
Yes, we should.
And then we can do another podcast again with the dolphins and ask them more questions. And I have to say to the dolphins, thank you, and I'm very excited about meeting them as well.
Yes. We're all excited about meeting each other.
All right. That's it. That's all for this episode of the 1 to 9 podcast. Thank you for listening, and please sign up for our newsletter at 1to9podcast.com.